A dark, empty house lay on the corner of 6th and Hennessy in New Georgia, 2 miles from Neo-Tokyo. Within the house stood a man that isn't quite a man. Empty whiskey bottles scattered the porch, bloody shell casings lay about the house as if to hint towards a story too dark and silent that creeps through the night of history. Within the house is Old Yeller. Slumped over the table, blood splattered against the white drywall. A 9mm pistol lay on the floor with full clip minus a single bullet. Blood pooled out of the gunshot wound in the side of his head. He had raggedy black hair, an eye patch, and one pitch-black eye. A glass of whiskey laid out, tipped over. Slowly, Old Yeller sat up. With a groan, he lifted his head off the desk. The bullet wound slowly sealed. He rubbed his head and sighed. He got up and poured himself a glass of honey, vodka, and bleach. He closed his eyes and downed it fast. He winced and shivered as it went down like glass shards. His migraine faded. He shook his head and went upstairs to take a shower. After taking a shower, he dried off and put on his clothes, which consisted of a hoodie, Smith & Wesson, good for 100 years, and a pair of baggy jeans. He checked his wallet, which had 3 $1 coins and 3 $5 coins. He walked out the door into the city, the dark city that he had spent so many drunken nights stumbling around aimlessly in. He sighed and began to walk. His hood sagged over his head, and his steps were small and fatigued. He made it to the bar after about a mile of walking. He walked to the counter, and the bartender walked over, shaking her head. "Another rough night?" she said, through a slight Irish accent. Old Yeller chuckled. "Yeah, you could say that," he said quietly. Suddenly the door burst open, and the bar went dead silent. In the doorway between stood a short and stocky man that wore a trench coat, a bandana, goggles, and a wide-brimmed brown hat. Everyone in the bar stared as he sat next to Old Yeller at the counter. "1 whiskey, please," said the man in a rough western accent. The bartender smiled and poured a shot, passing it to the odd cowboy. The bar was still silent, and the cowboy didn't like it. He stepped off the stool and spun around to look at the bar. "Well, what are y'all looking at?" he shouted. The bar went back to its normal chatter as the man sat back down. Old Yeller chuckled. "What's so funny?" said the cowboy. Old Yeller glanced over. "You seem to be compensating for something, sir." The cowboy was taken back by this, and glared at Old Yeller. "Follow me," said the cowboy. He gestured to the side door and walked over, opening the door and holding it open for Old Yeller. Old Yeller sighed and went out. The door led to an alleyway, and as soon as the door shut, Old Yeller was slammed against the wall. "Do you know your way around this city?" said the cowboy, urgency in his voice. "Gah, yes!" "Calm the hell down," said Old Yeller, pushing the cowboy away. The cowboy sighed and pulled out a cigarette. He offered one to Old Yeller. "Want one?" offered the cowboy. Old Yeller reluctantly took one. "Name's Wolf, bounty hunter, outlaw, and man on the run," he said, lighting his cigarette. "Skip the names. Why do you need my help?" said Old Yeller, lighting the cigarette and sounding impatient. "Well, I ran into a bad spot in a couple gangs, and I need some sanctuary." Old Yeller thinks for a moment, taking a long drag from a cigarette. "Which gangs?" he says finally. Wolf winces a little. "The youngsters and the snakes," he says reluctantly, worrying that Old Yeller might back out of the deal. "Wakamono Tehebi?" says Old Yeller, breaking into Japanese. Wolf rubs his neck awkwardly. "Yeah, not the best situation. Can you help me?" said Wolf, almost desperate. Old Yeller thought for a moment. "I'm going to regret this, but fine."